The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to the next instalment of D-Link webinars. My apologies for being a little bit late with starting here. A few technical issues on our side. We do have an unusually large webinar today for D-Link. There's 4 guests on. So myself, as always, Alan Jones. I'm the marketing manager at D-Link for UK and Ireland. I have with me special guest appearance from Paul Routledge, who is the UK&I country manager.
Thank you, Alan. Special guest appearance.
Special guest appearance. You appear very rarely, Paul, so we have to make the most of it. And we have 2 guests from one of our partner companies, Stampede. So we have Patrick here from Stampede.
Hi, everybody.
And we also have Neil here, who's and they're going to talk through the data analytics, track and trace, and all that kind of stuff that's available from Stampede. And they're going to do a much better job than either Paul and I can manage. So this is a first for us, a little bit of a joint webinar. So we're hoping that it's all going to go smoothly. We're going to be handing over the screen between people. So please just bear with us with any technical issues we have. We're all working from home. We all have dogs sleeping in the background and all sorts of stuff. So and we're going to try our best to give you a smooth webinar today. But as I said, we're here today to talk about nuclias and integrating nuclias with Stampede. And I think we all had April the 12th earmarked on our diaries, whether it was for the reopening of David Lloyd's gym, or whether it's for the reopening of the local pub, or whatever the reason was. April the 12th was marked on a lot of normal people's calendars, but it's going to be even more marked on the calendars of people who own or work in the hospitality industry, because it's going to be, for a lot of people, the first time that they've returned to work in 3, 4, or maybe even 9 months since the lockdown started. So to mark this, what we want to talk about today is how, via Nuclias hardware, we can help the customers within the hospitality industry. We can help MSP people sell more to the hospitality industry by offering their customers repeat business, more loyalty from their customers, and how we can do that in the current economic climate, which, as we said, has seen many of these businesses closed for a long time and come out of the situation with a lot of debt and a lot of other things that might be higher up on the list for them to purchase than a new network. So when you integrate Nuclias with Stampede, you can get a lot more out of your network, better communicate. And some of the topics we're going to be talking about today will be how you can increase your customer communication, how you can comply with track and trace, the marketing and data analytics that you can get with Stampede, how Nuclias can provide you a top quality Wi-Fi signal across all your premises, and how we can use flexible payment systems to help you pay for that. So,
if I can just add, Alan, sorry. So I know we're going to be talking about hospitality. So a lot of this, the presentation today is going to be around hospitality, and we've seen a lot of success with our nuclear solutions and with Stampede in that hospitality sector. But this type of solution spreads across all market sectors.
yes, definitely.
We've seen, within education, within SMB businesses. So although we are, definitely, we're talking about the hospitality sector today. For resellers into the different vertical markets, there are advantages, definitely advantages to using Nuclias and using Stampede solution across those different verticals.
And if you need,
sorry, Alan, I just want to jump in.
No, of course not. And if you need any of that information, give us a buzz, because we'll be happy to help you with that. So to start off with, we're going to talk about the hardware solution. On screen right now, you can see a small cafe. So 20 to 25 seats on the inside, about 15 to 20 seats on the outside. So we've gone for a solution, a nice DBA 2520p for the indoors and a 3620 for the outdoors. Both of these are Nuclias Cloud products. So just to demonstrate how easy it is and how little equipment that you really do need to take advantage of the kind of stuff that we're going to have today. 2 access points for your business will open you up to all of the possibilities that we're going to talk about in today's presentation. So Nuclias does come in 2 forms. We have Nuclias Cloud and Nuclias Connect. And Paul's...
If I can, sorry, I was going to say if I can jump in on that one.
Yeah, I was just going to introduce you, Paul. You were a bit quick then.
Sorry, yeah, that's the story of my life. Nuclias. Nuclias is a network management platform, available as a pure cloud solution. So for Nuclias Cloud, we host. So we host that platform. For Nuclias Connect, that's where our partners, resellers, installers, they can host Nuclias Connect, still providing that same service, still providing that same level of service to their customers. But we do have there's a broad range of partners that want to host themselves. So that's where Nuclias Connect comes into it. There is an option where that management piece can actually sit on the end user side as well. So using the Nuclias Connect hub, the management can sit on the end user side. But today we'll talk mostly around Nuclias Cloud, again, where we host that, and Nuclias Connect. With Nuclias Cloud, as you'd expect, you get the 99.9% uptime. It's a complete out-of-the-box solution, really easy to deploy and manage from anywhere. And it's just a license fee, so pay as you go for that management piece. Nuclias Connect is a free piece of software. It's a desktop-based management network management. It comes with the product. It is customizable software. As I said, it's app and desktop based. It takes that hosting piece from us to you, the reseller channel partner. So, and again, we've got a lot of customers that prefer that piece of it. Prefer to host it themselves and benefit from some of the financial benefits of that. I said the word benefit too many times. Sorry, Alan, over to you.
That's okay, Paul. But there are many benefits, as you say. One of the benefits of Nuclias Cloud is that you can run an MSP as 1 or 2 people. I mean, it could connect where you have to host the infrastructure. You're probably looking at slightly larger companies where you'd put Connect in, but clouds. It's not to say that it's only for small management companies, because it does have unlimited scaling. So they're both very, very flexible opportunities, and both very, very appealing to the MSP audience out there. So on to the portfolio, Paul. Once again, you're summoned to talk about the wide range of access points and switches that we have and we have coming soon.
Okay, quite a busy slide. So I'm not going to go through individual products. What I will say, so again, broad range of access points, of wireless access points, both indoor, outdoor, Wi-Fi 5, Wi-Fi 6, and so there's a product for every application. What we typically see in any installation is a mix across the range of different access points. So could be some of the higher density access points for busier areas, so areas with more, with more people, with more devices. Some of the smaller access points for areas of less traffic. External access points, obviously, in the first slide, Alan showed the external area of a cafe. So specific access points that will work in that type of environment. So broad range of access points, and again, typically we see a mix in any installation, and then a range of switches. So where you've got those lots of access points together, obviously they need connecting into a network. with the nucleus switches. The nucleus switches are managed using that same platform. So whether it's cloud or connect, using that same platform to manage the whole network, your physical wired network through the switches, and then your wireless network through the access points.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely spot on. Not pictured more switches coming in the future, but stay tuned to a webinar coming soon to hear more about when the nucleus switches will be available, looking at 10 gig and that kind of stuff. So exciting stuff happening on the roadmap. WPA3. So 2020 was the year of working from home, but 2021 has become the year of paying for the fact that everyone worked from home by the way of security breaches and all sorts of stuff that comes from allowing people to work at home on their home routers without virus software, without any sort of encryption, all that kind of stuff. So 2021 will become the year of security, and WPA3 is one of the ways that we are helping businesses adapt and increase their security across the piece. WPA3 comes standard on all nucleus APs. And what it will allow you to have is the highest level of encryption available, helping to ensure that your data is safe. So as much security with nucleus APs and across the network as you can possibly get. So now, just moving on to the example of hospitality, as Paul said, nucleus has its places in many different sectors. We did a previous webinar where Craig and I looked at nucleus for all of those sectors and made a recommendation, cloud versus connect, which one we'd recommend for that. So you can go back and listen to that one. I'll bookmark it on the YouTube video for any YouTube listeners. But the consistent problem that lies across hospitality is delivering a Wi-Fi experience to all of their customers, no matter where they're placed in the shop, no matter which level they're on in a hotel, and no matter which site they're in if they're multi-chain. And that becomes a real issue because Wi-Fi is expected and bad Wi-Fi isn't put up with and can often lead to bad reviews for you on TripAdvisor. More on that from our friends at Stampede coming up in a moment. So the challenges for hospitality are quite high because that high level of Wi-Fi is expected, whether you're sitting next to the counter or you're outside, as the example earlier showed. What Nucleus allows you to do for hospitality is control all of the APs across all of your sites, across all of your floors from a single screen, from a browser or from an app. And what that allows you to do is to use the same profile across all your businesses, or if you prefer to implement bandwidth controls or quality of service on individual areas where perhaps there is an issue. So you can have a profile across everything, or you can set up individual profiles across the piece. And that's one of the beauties of Nucleus Cloud, because you don't have to be on site. You can do that from anywhere in the world. So you can do that sipping a mojito on Cancun Beach, or you can do it from just down the road. It's entirely up to you. You can control the whole system from anywhere. So that's a real advantage there for hospitality. So if we have a quick look, I've mocked up an example hotel here. Quite a nice looking hotel. Wouldn't mind staying there myself. For access.
Sorry, only I've gone. Sorry, I was going to jump in. Go on.
Oh yeah. If I'll just do it a bit quickly, Paul. So four access points covering reception, the gym. Then we've got another access point to cover the customer rooms. One to cover the kitchen and the restaurant. And then we've got a waterproof AP. So it's an outdoor AP, but it's waterproof, which we're going to put in the pool area just in case it gets splashed. So, Paul, if you want to.
Well, yeah, just outlining as I said, with the range that we've got, typically we will see different APs used in different locations on one particular site.
Yeah.
So again, high density areas or areas where there's likely to be a lot of traffic. So I'd say, kind of in a reception area, you're likely to get more people there, more devices. So there you'd probably use a more high density AP. Some of the areas, possibly the rooms, the hotel rooms, where you're likely to get less users, or maybe even in the gym, where you're likely to get less people actually using their devices. Then typically we'll see different types of access points deployed there. And then, as Alan said, the outdoor AP, they're fully AP 67 compliant. So
yes,
they are so they can be used in wet areas with with a lot of dust. So that using those outdoor access points as well. Alan's also put some of the IP cameras on this image as well. So coming soon to the Nuclias platform is management of our complete range of IP cameras as well.
That'll be fantastic, won't it, Paul?
when they're available, they're great. Yeah.
So I just put like a nice camera on the reception area to see the guests when they're coming in. Keeping an eye on this van that's hanging around in the parking area, so closing off the back exit, and we put one in the pool area as well, because if anybody has an accident in the pool, you probably have a lifeguard, but it's good to have a backup or anything like that. So we'd imagine that this is a very typical arrangement for a hotel to get a great coverage of Nuclias going. So we've designed the hardware. We've got the access points in place. We've put in a few extra bits of cameras, but now I think we need to move on to how we can use Nuclias and how we can integrate software with Nuclias to get a better return on investment from the product. So to talk about how to integrate and then to move on to marketing and data, I'm going to hand over the presenting to Patrick. So hopefully this will go smoothly. So
here we go.
Excellent. I can see your screen, Patrick. So that's a good start.
Great. So I'm Patrick from Stampede, and I'll give you a quick overview of how the two systems work together from a functional point of view, and then I'm going to hand over to Neil to talk more about the specific bits of functionality that are tailor-made for hospitality within the Stampede platform. So just to give you a quick idea, Stampede is a all-encompassing platform for hospitality businesses that collects lots of data from different sources, compiles all that data together, and then allows hospitality operators to ultimately generate more revenue from the data that's being collected. One of the ways that we collect data is through integrating with the Wi-Fi networks, because obviously there's lots of guests using those Wi-Fi networks, and when the guests connect, they'll be presented with a portal where they put in, their email address or their phone number, and then that will, allow them onto the internet. So what I'm just going to show you now is how the two systems actually talk together practically, and then I'll hand over to Neil. So what we've got here is a landing page for Nuclias and Stampede, and this will allow you to get set up with your sort of Nuclias estate of access points. It doesn't matter whether you've got 2 or 2,000 access points. This setup takes about 3 minutes across your kind of entire estate. So on this landing page is a button that says Start Free Trial Now, and that will take you through to our sign-up page. And I've pre-populated this to save time, but I'm going to run through this, and hopefully the demo gods are with me, and this will just work. Excellent. So this is creating me a Stampede account with the details that I provided. And you'll see on the left side, I've got a tab called venues. So we separate out each individual venue. So if you think about, a group of hotels that you might be selling to or implementing Nuclias into, you might have, 100 hotels and they'd all appear here. But because I've just created an account, I actually only have one. So I'm just going to go into the settings of that, and you'll see at the top, I've got an option called D-Link. And if I click on that, this gives me all of the information that's needed to connect my D-Link account, my Stampede account with my Nuclias Cloud account. So if I just go over to my Nuclias tab here, you'll see that I've got two SSIDs. One is called Nuclias Office and one is called Nuclias Guest Stampede. If I click on my Stampede SSID, you'll see that guest access mode is enabled. And then the next part of that setup is going to Captive Portal, and then choosing sign on using external Captive Portal. Literally just click copy here, paste here, and then set up the Radius servers. And this is for authenticating guests and then providing accounting information like dwell time, return rate, how much data someone's using. So all you need to do is go to add Radius server, copy over the server information here. So we might say there we go. And once that's saved and the configuration is pushed to the access points, that will be up and running, and you'll see data coming through for every guest connection that happens from that point onwards. So it really is extremely simple to set up. There's almost like no prior knowledge required. Everything's laid out for you nice and straightforward. And we've tried to do that to minimize the sort of install time. My experience comes from fitting lots of access points into places like hotels, and I sort of learned firsthand how difficult this can be. So we've tried to take all the friction away to allow it to be, just as simple as possible. And the Nuclias Cloud solution is really great because it's all cloud-based. So once you've got one profile set up, you can copy that, across literally 1,000 access points, and it takes a couple of minutes. So that's everything on the setup side. It was almost too easy. So I'm going to hand over to Neil now, who's going to run through the kind of product demonstration in more detail. If anyone's got any questions on that, just feel free to drop it in the chat, and I'll try and reply as Neil's going through his demo.
Thanks for that, Patrick. Just wait for Control to share my screen and take you through. So here we go. Let me bring up my window. Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen now. Over here, excellent. So I am going to be running you through a few different things of what Stampede can do following Patrick's run through of the integration. The first thing I'd like to show everybody is the actual captive portal itself, the splash screen, and how we're using that for not only data capture, but for pieces like track and trace as well, which is obviously essential for any hospitality business in the UK at the moment. So what you'll see here is the design screen for the captive portal. Super easy to customize. You've got your logo here that you can change, and your background image just below that. You can go as far as modifying the color of the login to Wi-Fi button to match the branding, making the background transparent. You can see the tone of color coming up and then getting more transparent as we go up. So very easy to customize to each individual business's branding. Below that then, within the capture section, this is all of the data that you can capture. So, Popham's Bakery is the test account I'm going to be using today. This is one of our clients in demo mode. They're capturing email, name, and telephone number. But if you drop down, you've got more options here to choose from, such as birthday, postcode, etc. If there is anything missing, you can add custom questions to which people can answer by either writing in an answer via text, selecting from a drop-down list of answers, or selecting yes or no. I know the guys have been given a example of a hotel. Great use case for our captive portal and data capture is asking people reason for visit. That's a very popular one with our hotel clients. Also, how they booked. A lot of online travel agents don't tend to give up this customer data. It's a fantastic way of separating direct and non-direct guests to get people coming back direct next time. Below that, then you have your login options. So we have email validation. We also have SMS verification. So especially with track and trace now, the requirements are first name, surname, email, and telephone number. So we're doing everything we can to get as valid information as possible. We also support Facebook login and Apple login. Now, what that looks like for a customer is like so. So the first time you come here, you're going to see terms and conditions for track and trace. So just alerting the guest, the customer, that by complying, they are giving up their data to be used via the NHS, should they need to be contacted. As you go through the screens here, the second one is data. Are you happy to give up your data knowing that it will not be sold on? And the next stage is marketing. Are you happy for us to market to you? You can go to end user terms to see the full terms as well. But as soon as you go through these stages, hit agree. You then come through to the screen here, which you just pop in your details. So here I am. And log into Wi-Fi. And you get this nice little loading screen, which then takes you forward to a landing page of your choice. This could be, i.e. the website. It could be a social media account, anything you'd like it to be. So that is stage one of the captive portal, how we're capturing the data, and also use for track and trace. Obviously, the connection time will show when that person is in the venue and when they've left the venue, when they've disconnected. We also record those times as well. So should the NHS contact that business for data, they'll be able to access it nice and easily. The second way that we comply with track and trace is via web forms. So customers can either scan a QR code or staff can enter in their information on a web form, which looks like this here. So if I go to interactions, add a guest, choose a venue, open form. So you can imagine scanning that QR code, coming here. Now, a lot of businesses are using the ready-made apps for, Scotland has its own, and England and Wales has their own as well. The issue with that is, of course, you're relying on the customer to have that app, use it correctly, etc. With our solution, you're not only, being 100% sure that you're in control of capturing all customer data, but it's also another great way of asking people if they want to opt in for marketing. So it's another great way of growing that database. So the next stage, what I wanted to talk about was using Wi-Fi for advertising. So what we've been asked for quite a lot are ways of promoting, whether it be new menu items, new events, etc. How can we get these in front of customers, not relying on staff to push it, not relying on social media. So what we've developed is a feature called Upsell, and what this displays are digital stories that can promote on devices whilst they're in the venue. So under Upsell here, you can have as many of these story cards as you wish. This will replace the captive portal splash screen the second time you connect to the Wi-Fi. It'll have a call to action here at the bottom that will redirect you to a landing page. We have reports on these as well to show interaction data, so views, clicks, etc. Obviously, data at the moment is going to be a bit peculiar because of the times that we're in, and these will just slide across the device. And customers can interact with these as much as they wish to. They're also incredibly easy to change, based on, if you've got events coming up, if you've got new limited time menu items, etc. Whether you've got different facilities in the venue, a really popular one for hotels is using this for their spas, their golf breaks, etc. Onto that then, obviously, we're collecting all of this fantastic data, which is stored within the internal CRM system here. So this client, for example, has just over 3,000 customers captured. The last one will be myself up here. And how can you use this data to drive more footfall, up your digital marketing efforts? So what we have is a built-in marketing tool that allows you to create campaigns from the data you're capturing. We offer two different types of campaigns, automated and bulk. Now, automation, it tends to be more intuitive with the Wi-Fi, as you would imagine. So if I go into this campaign here, this test campaign, to edit, it's going to ask me to give it a name. This can be anything you want. It's also going to ask me to put in a spend per head. Now, this is important because we can track customers coming back from campaigns via the guest Wi-Fi to give accurate ROIs per campaign. The next stage is who it's going to be going out to. So first of all, it's going to be asking, is it going to be all locations or just a few? And then you can create your lists of who's going to qualify for this message. So you've got these different event types. So events could be, for example, not seen in, and then, you know, 1 day, 1 month, etc. We know this because of the Wi-Fi connectivity data. You can add multiple rules. So let's say we want to target somebody who has visited, let's say, greater than twice. So this is a great example here of customers that have not been back to your venue in 1 month, but have been there more than once. They've been there, well, greater than 2, so 3 times or more. So people who are engaged with your brand. Now, obviously, a campaign like this would be used to drive those people back sooner than they might be planning to come back. So when you're happy with that, you go through the stages, go through next step. You choose either email or SMS. Let's say email in this instance. Give it a subject. So I'm just going to put test in here for the moment, and who it's coming from, and then either Builder or HTML. Builder tends to be the more popular. Go through the next step, and then you can either start from a blank canvas, creating that email, or you can choose from one of our many preset templates. So just to give you an idea what that can look like. There we go, something like that. We also have the ability to do bulk one-off email sends to either all of your customers or a specific segment of that CRM database. Now, the segmentation tool is fantastic. What you can do in that, if I just go quickly back to that, is you've got your preset segments here. Losing customers, so these are people who have not been back in a while. Again, we know that through Wi-Fi connectivity. Birthdays next month, you can start capturing birthdays on that splash screen to get those customers up. Loyal customers, people who are visiting you frequently. Again, we know this through the Wi-Fi connectivity data. And then obviously this is the premise for building the campaigns. And then within the campaigns themselves, as I've mentioned, you know, you have the ability to track, you know, the success of each of these. So if we look at one of these campaigns here, so if I go into reports, it's going to be a bit unusual at the moment, given the times with places closed, but you're going to get everything you would expect. How many have been sent, the delivery, the open rates, the click-through rates, etc. But more importantly, how many people have returned to that venue after receiving that information. And what we do then is we multiply the unique returning visitors and the total returning visitors by the spend per head that you put in to give you ROIs for each campaign. So we, as mentioned as well, we do also support SMS marketing for those clients capturing telephone numbers and not just emails on the captive portal screen. Now, that is how we're taking it one step further than your typical email marketing companies, you know, to really make use of that data that you're capturing and tracking, you know, the success rate of each campaign. Now, I'm talking a lot about driving footfall, you know, increasing loyalty. We do have other ways of doing this where Wi-Fi ties in. So the first for, you know, reaching new audiences perhaps was we have a reviews tool built into the software. So what this does is when somebody disconnects from the Wi-Fi, they get sent an email that looks something like this here. So it'll contain your logo, your background image, etc. And then the call to action is, you know, how did we do? Rate us 1 to 5 stars. Now you'll see on the left-hand side here that we have, you know, integrated tools like Google Reviews and TripAdvisor. Now the procedure in this instance for our reviews feature is if you select 1 to 3 stars, you pop in your feedback, you hit submit, and that is everything. However, if you select a good or great, that is where you will be redirected to one of these connected platforms. So it's helping businesses protect their online reputation whilst giving them as much customer feedback to reply to as possible. Now, when you go in reviews, each one of these pages represents a location. So if I go into this here, it's going to be showing me, you know, recent feedback from customers and the platforms that they've been on. So we've got Google, we've got TripAdvisor, etc. It also gives you the ability to reply to people. So if it's linked to TripAdvisor or Google, for example, you know, it's going to take you through to that exact Google review to reply there. If it's a lower score, then it is going to allow you to reply via email. And then on the left-hand side here, you're going to see, standout words being used a lot. So, customers are talking a lot about staff. They're talking about the location. They're talking a lot about the pastries in positive ways. And then obviously, looking at the more negative reviews, we're going to see the more commonly used words in those to give you an indication of what could be improved on. And then within the reports for reviews, you're going to get everything from your sentiment reviews to your NPS scores and your average reviews across platforms. So if you're a multi-site venue with tons of locations, rather than having multiple TripAdvisor pages open and Google reviews pages, you've got one place for accessing all of that information. Obviously Google reviews, etc. That is a great way of driving new footfall in. The first thing you do before checking out somewhere new is, what's it like? If you're looking for a new place to eat, a new place to drink, you'll go for, you'll use Google Maps, drinks near me, restaurants nearby, etc. And the more reviews coming in, is going to only increase your positioning in that respect. The other element that we have for, increasing loyalty is we have the ability to do digital stamp cards within the product. So we've taken the paper stamp card process, we've replaced that with an app, and we administer loyalty points in a couple of different ways. So the first would be through actually NFC tags, giving you, of course, stamps on that app. I'm not sure if this customer has it active at the moment. No, we don't have any schemes active at the moment. But what this will do will allow this Popman's Bakery to have their own custom card on the Stampede Stamps app. And every time they come in, and let's say it's a coffee scheme, so buy 9 cups of coffee, get your 10 for free, they'll earn stamps either by tapping the NFC tag via the staff member against the phone screen, or by using Wi-Fi itself. So we have the ability to reward people by being in the venue itself. So, I go into Popham's, I reconnect to the Wi-Fi because I've logged in before. I've just earned myself another stamp. Now, let's say I've never downloaded the stamp card. I'm going to get an email alerting me to let me know that I've got a stamp, and then a call to action at the bottom asking me to download that app in order to get my card, which will historically save my stamps. So I could activate it 5 stamps in, I could activate it straight away, entirely up to me. But it's going to keep rewarding people the more they're coming back. And when their reward is ready, on the app itself, there is a little timer for 3 minutes that you show the staff member, and they would authorize that discount, that free menu item, etc. And we're also looking to build in the number of stamps that somebody has into the email marketing. So, we're taking it one step further from, birthday information, Wi-Fi connectivity, whether it be dwell time, somebody in a venue for 15 minutes gets this email. Somebody who hasn't visited a venue for 4 weeks gets this email. Another feature could be, including the number of stamps that somebody has. So in a nutshell, guys, that is the Stampede software, how it's used in the hospitality market, the accommodation market, and retail. It's what we're noticing specifically at the moment is just as the guys have been mentioning, more people requiring outdoor access points, more people adopting services like order and pay, so customers aren't going to the bar to order drinks anymore, they're doing it from their phone. Wi-Fi is that much more important. Where there's more Wi-Fi, a captive port in place, the data just grows and grows, and we're seeing some amazing results from our customers that are able to open at the moment. If anyone does have any questions, as Patrick's mentioned, I'd be more than happy to answer what we can.
Yeah, as a marketeer, Neil, this stuff just sounds amazing to me. It really does. I think about the possibilities. The example that we use a lot of the time is you go to stay in a hotel. You've hopped on the Wi-Fi. You've given them permission to use your phone number, and at 6 o'clock, just as the restaurant's opening, you get a text message on your phone saying, free start with every main course. So instead of heading out to a restaurant outside in the town. You stay in the hotel, and the hotel has increased its its profitability per customer. And we mentioned earlier already about the reviews on TripAdvisor, because I remember reading when I was pulling stuff together for the Hospitality Society that most reviews that are bad on TripAdvisor about hotels talk about Wi-Fi, and Wi-Fi is one of the biggest considerations that they talk about when they give a hotel a bad review. So doing both, taking care of your Wi-Fi signal with Nuclias, getting a great coverage, and then having Stampede to increase the profitability of every customer. It's just a great matchup. It really is.
Yeah, it's obviously with hotels, it's Wi-Fi is expected just as much as hot water is,
Yes.
just as much as food and drinks are. So we're often seeing a really high opt-in rate with our hotel clients, and just the data that comes in is that much richer, is that much stronger. You can be a bit cheekier being a hotel as well, asking for more data because people are there obviously longer. So it's pretty good. I'm just going to give control back to yourself.
Fantastic. Okay. Show my screen. Okay, right. So I'm probably expecting that after all of the talk we've had so far, that the next question that's going to be on a lot of people's minds is how much does this cost? And how I promised you at the start that we talk about how we can help people, and how we can help the hospitality or any industry in particular at the moment who are potentially have been shut for 3, 6, 9 months or so, and don't have a lot of operating expenditure, capital expenditure at the moment. So we're going to talk about TAS. You've probably heard so many acronyms of the as a service, and TAS is technology as a service, as opposed to NAS or SAS or any of the other many different acronyms that you hear about that. But what it basically is it's a system that allows you to pay weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly for your networking, rather than having that big outlay up front to install new hardware or take upon new software solutions. As I mentioned earlier, it's unlikely that upgrading your network is going to be top of your list upon reopening, but what's happening is that a lot of organizations of all sorts of sizes are shifting towards this services-based pay-as-you-go model for IT consumption. And with Tech as a Service, you can purchase your hardware, your software, training, other services, deployment, support, device management. You can put everything under the one agreement, which really does cut down on the admin work when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Sorry, Alan, if I could just jump in, but particularly for for hospitality and the fact that hospitality has been closed for for so long. A lot of hospitality organisations, so cafes, pubs, hotels, restaurants, will need to implement track and trace solutions, and will want to provide more service to their customers and be able to upsell to their customers. So to be able to provide better Wi-Fi plus the Stampede solution offers more business opportunities to those organizations. What Tech as a Service does allows them to do that without an initial upfront payment.
Yeah.
So it allows companies to be able to offer that better Wi-Fi experience and more marketing opportunities out to their customer base. But again, without that upfront cost.
Yeah, rather than saving up to get a new network system, just pay monthly, implement it now, and get the advantages of that system now rather than down the line. And that really is what Tech as a Service can do for you. For resellers, one of the best points is creating customers for life, and I mean that's an absolutely fantastic business model. You buy the system, you own the system for 3 years, then you either hand back the system or you extend the system. But what you've done is you've created a customer. You've had that customer for 3 years, and then you get first chance to renew that customer with new services, with a new network, or just renewing what they've got already. So it really is a great system for especially MSP customers who would not only sell the services but also include a management fee on top of what they charge the customers for this kind of stuff to manage this this stuff remotely. So what we've pulled together next is the D-Link Lodge. So somewhere lovely and sunny, as you can see on the screen. Just as an example package for the kind of thing that we were looking at. So we had the example of the hotel earlier, but we didn't talk about how much the price was going to be. So just as a sample, small hotel package, we put in 5 nucleus access points, the 1210Ps, and they are the lower density, the 2x2 units. 5 higher density access points, the DBA 2820P, they're the 4x4s. So they've got the bigger coverage area. So those areas of the hotel where people are going to be streaming Netflix, those kind of areas, that's where we put those access points in. We then put a PoE switch in so that you can have nice wide connections in your office, and also it's a PoE switch so you could power the camera that you've got watching over the car park. And then on top of that, we've included the Stampede basic package. So most of the stuff that Neil talked about earlier will be included in the cost here, so you can get everything that's on the tin. So just to sum up the features of the package, you're going to get full coverage of your environment. You're going to get PoE from the switch for your VoIP telephones if you have them, and to power the camera. You're going to have analytics, so the data dashboards, the metrics. You're going to be able to view customers, etc. Best in class Wi-Fi, improve the customer experience and collect the customer data. Easy sign in, so sign in with your Facebook or your Apple ID into the Stampede portal, and custom data capture, so creating those questions that Neil showed earlier, allowing you to get better marketing back from that. And then the guys at Stampede will provide you with email support if you have any issues with that stuff. So to look at the price, that package would cost you £4,245.17, to be very, very precise, as a capital expenditure. But over 36 months, via TAS, we offer the 2 options here. So the first option would be residual value. So you would pay £125.36 per month for residual value. And residual value means that at the end of the 3-year contract, you either hand the product back, you get an upgrade on the product system, and you pay a new price that's calculated at that time, or you choose to extend your existing deal. The choice is on the customer. Or you pay £133.60 per month on finance, and then at the end of the 3 years, you get to keep that network in place. So there's no more payments after that point. And just to show how easy it is to scale up. So let's say, for instance, this hotel builds a summer house, and now building a couple of extra rooms. They need an extra AP. Add in just a normal 1210 AP for just £4.50 a month, or a high density AP can be added in for £11 a month, and all of that can be done in the same agreement as you initially had. So a very simple system, very scalable, grows with your business. All the options are there and gives you that flexible payment method. And as I said, I've used months as the demonstration point here, but you can pay weekly, monthly, quarterly, or yearly. That choice is entirely upon yourself. Just as a small print, this is not a quote, so don't come to us looking at this after the webinar and say, well, you said that would cost this much. This is just an example for the people out there to give you an idea as to how much it will cost. If you do want a quote, obviously speak to us. Paul, have you got anything to add on Taz at all? Or
no, nothing else to add. That's good. Sorry, I particularly like the small print piece, Alan. I think that's a good example of an overview of a typical small hotel. Obviously, the D-Link solution expands out to hundreds of access points, so to large hotels, large chain hotels. I think that's a very good example of again, typical small hotel package. Something that kind of resonates with me is just that £4.50 a month for an additional access point.
Brilliant.
That's really not a lot. That's really not a lot of cash, is it? So no, good example. Really good example.
Okay. So that's about everything that we've got today. We do have a question, and that question is: does the Stampede solution work with D-Link Nuclias Connect solution? So does anyone want to answer that, or I can answer that, or?
Go on then, Alan.
Well, unfortunately, it doesn't work with Nuclias Connect at the moment, but it is something that obviously we'll be looking at investigating in the future. But not right now. The Stampede solution is unique to the Nuclias Cloud platform. So that's why we've made today's presentation more about the cloud. But whenever we talk about Nuclias, we do like to mention Connect as well, because it's still a great option, but it doesn't integrate with Stampede in this manner. No problem, Luke. Thanks for the question. Okay. So. Just as an outro then, if anybody else has got any questions, get them in and we'll answer them before the end of the session. But I just want to say thanks to both Patrick and Neil for coming on. Thanks to Paul for standing in and making a special guest appearance. We'll get you on more webinars moving forward. The contact details for both us and Stampede are on the screen. So if you want to give us a call, both telephone numbers are on there. If you want to drop us a line, UKI-sales@dlink.com, or you can drop Neil or Patrick an email at sales@stampede.ai if there's anything that we can help you with at all. The next webinar will be in 2 weeks' time. Craig might be back. If Craig's not back, we will bring in a suitable host, and we'll be talking about mesh networking and the upcoming Cover 1860 series, which we're pretty excited about. It's going to be the first new D-Link mesh system for over a year or so. So we're very, very excited to get that in. So we hope to see you again on April the 28th. Okay, thanks to everybody for listening, and we'll speak to you all soon.
Thank you, Alan.
Bye now.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, everybody.